Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Anime Dude podcast. My name is Riley, and with us we have.
Bjorvio. Hello,
Beautiful.
everyone. It's an absolute honor to be here and for all of you to be listening to our hopefully wonderful voices. I mean, Riley's is amazing, but
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. After the first episode, people seriously thought I was being honest about being on the podcast with Chris Sabat. So, your voice is gorgeous. But we hope you enjoyed the first episode, and this episode will be very, very similar. We are talking about something that is close to our hearts, something that is really special and meaningful. It is.
love. I mean, the sports festival arc of My Hero Academia. It's the same thing, right?
It's the same thing. It's interchangeable. The first thing I said to my wife, and the first time, after a couple of dates, actually, I was quite soon. I said, "I sports festival you," and she didn't say it back because she thought I was weird and she didn't watch My Hero Academia. But I'm still proud that I said that. Yeah, you know.
I,
So
I distinctly remember instead of saying they said, will you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" I said, "I sports festival."
our wives would. I think your wife would be okay with that. My wife hasn't watched My Hero Academia yet. I think your wife is that. Would you say the sports festival is one of her favorite arcs? Has she watched that?
She's a huge Shoto fan, so I would say it's definitely fair to say that it's one of her favorite arcs.
Okay. Well, I've heard some controversy, and controversy is what this podcast is all about. So I'd like to check it out there. In regards to the sports festival, I've heard a few people say that Midoriya shouldn't have won the first obstacle or the first obstacle course. He shouldn't have won it. It was for plot. It made a little bit of sense. He did. Obviously, it was blind luck that he won it, but and he used his smarts. But he didn't have a quirk. He was going up against people that had full ice fire quirks, and yet he won it. I personally think, and this is where the controversy comes in if you follow along, I personally think he should have come in the top three. What's your opinion?
I don't mind that, from a plot perspective of Midoriya coming in first in the first event, because it really kind of showed him like, oh, this is the weight that All Might has to carry. So therefore, this is the weight that I'm going to have to carry. So I understand it from that point of view. But the fact that he won it without using his quirk at all, I'm like, yeah. I see what they're trying to do, but I agree. I'm kind of with you. I would rather him have come in, something along the top three, since it was a race using quirks. Like that. At least that's how I feel about it.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, the reason it made sense plot wise is because the second event, obviously, with Midoriya being on top of the world, I liked the fact that it brought out that he has a million or billion points or whatever, like, and it made a target on his back. I did like
Oh yeah.
that. Um, and I liked the fact that everyone was kind of against him, and not only Shoto before the sports festival, but what's that guy? I'm having a mind blank. The guy with the power legs with the
Oh, Ida.
yeah.
Yeah, Tenya
Ida,
Ida.
Ida said the same. He said, I can't accept because who was Midoriya's team again? Can you remind us?
So I love Team Midoriya. I think it was an awesome team up, and I really think it really showed how smart Midoriya was to ask these people. But the fact that they pulled their own weight, it was great. It was Ochako or Araka, because it had to be Mei Hatsume and Tokoyami
Mhm.
was the surprise one. And That was the first. I think that was the first time we really saw Tokoyami use Dark Shadow defensively in that regard, and it was just, it was really cool. I liked how Team Midoriya used each other's strengths to cover up each other's weaknesses, and it was just very well done.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And Midoriya, he had that determination there. He had the he wanted to win. He wanted to prove that he could keep his. And I loved Bakugo in this scene. I mean, even before the sports festival, Bakugo going on stage, like it was a perfect announcement that he made. He could have said some, but he just said, "I'm gonna win." Didn't he say that? I'm gonna win.
Yes. This
And,
is this is
yeah.
prime Bakugo, and it's prime Todoroki. Like, we don't really see Todoroki with this kind of confidence. Like when he freezes the robots and it's, I warned you, I be careful, they're all off balance. I did that on purpose. Like, he wouldn't do that now, and even, I mean, Bakugo would probably do the same thing still, but just to see how he owns that part of himself. And then even later, when he's talking to the other students, calling them idiots and explaining how quirks are like muscles and everything like that, like they're both at their absolute. At least Todoroki is. This is one of my favorite instances of Todoroki, and I would say the same for Bakugo as well.
Agreed. Agreed. And, and then they introduced that other character. I'm not sure he's had much introduction before this, but I forget his name again. But he's the character who
Is it
can
Shinsho?
he can borrow quirks. Is that right?
Oh no, I forget his name because he just makes me mad.
He does make me mad too. But that quirk is insane. It is so cool.
Oh
And he's,
yeah,
I mean, the way he comes up and he goes for Bakugo, that is some confidence there. To go for Bakugo after seeing his talent and seeing his anger and aggression and try he took his headband at that point, but so good and such a good quirk, and I like that little rivalry between the two. I probably,
yeah,
as a character, I liked him the most in this particular arc. Um, that guy who steals quirks, he gets worse over time, but I like the fact that he
yeah.
challenged them and he had a little bit of strategy. And who was your favorite
Great strategy.
character in the entire sports festival arc? That would be a good question to ask.
Oh man, I mean, I liked Shinsho's introduction. I think he gets a lot better later, but it was a good, kind of introduction for him, even though Midoriya got a cop out win. Um, I don't know who my favorite character of the arc is. It's Bakugo and Uraraka art's up there because, I mean, Uraraka's fight with Bakugo and the whole lead up to that, the whole thing after that was just incredible. Amazing development for her. Um, and this is the first time that for Shoto that we really see how big of an impact the Todoroki family has had on him, how much Endeavor has on him, and this is going to go on to be a major plot point. But this arc is the first time that we really get to see it, how it affects him, and then we get probably my favorite quote of the whole series of, "Are you all my secret love child or something?" But in terms of my favorite character of the arc, I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn between Bakugo and maybe it is just Bakugo. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you brought up the fight with Uravity and Bakugo, and Uravity, that fight was insane. I loved her passion. I loved her backstory. I love her motivation of trying to support
Mm-hmm.
and help her family. I felt that was quite special. And then obviously she's putting on the brave face in front of everyone, and she didn't. When Deku came to her and said to her, um, "Let's talk about
Yes.
strategy." She didn't accept that. She wanted to be her own person. She wanted to strategize herself, and her strategy that she came up with was on point. And it
Mm-hmm.
was really good, and no one could see it except for I loved Eraserhead's response to to everyone booing and shouting at Bakugo, and no, perfect strategy, really really good, and she went out there bravely and fought. So I think That's one of my favorite fights. It has to be the second favorite fight because the top favorite is Deku versus
Todoroki.
yeah, Todoroki. That has to be the top. The animation in that, and the passion in Deku's voice, and he did stand up to the world and say, "I am here." You know, he truly did. What about side characters? Any side characters that stand out to you? Any characters from Class 1B that you liked?
Um, the main ones that I really like this from Class 1B would be Tetsu 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 Tetsu. Besides just his name being incredible. Um, I think this is the first time we really got introduced to, I can't think of her name. I want to say it's like Keto or something like that, but she's the girl that has the big hands.
Yes,
Um, her kind of being the class's big sister, Kendo, that's her name.
Kendo.
Her being the class big sister and everything. That was really cool to see. Most of the other characters from Class 1B that we see I don't really impress me that much this season, but a lot of them do later on, but we'll get to that later. Um, I think also the this one's kind of an out there, but you said this character earlier, and it really made me think of them. Aizawa. He doesn't participate, but his commentary shows how good and how devoted of a teacher he is throughout the entirety of this arc. And I mean, Present Mike's there too, but his commentary is whatever. But when Aizawa speaks, it's either funny or no, you don't understand these kids in the way that I do. So I'm going to throw him into the ring as well. And then I'll also throw in Aravity just because, this is one of the best arcs she's going to get for a while. And that's really sad because I really like her.
Completely agree. Yeah, you already. I mean, Azawa's great. Endeavor's Midnight actually was Professor Midnight. She was real good. You know, obviously there's a lot of fan service there, but they didn't hide it. They she I like her English voice actor. I watch in dub at the moment. I watch in both, but her English voice
Same.
actor's good. Um, they obviously develop her a little bit further in the future, but she wasn't necessarily bad. Um, Another what was the other side competition? They had a side, so they had the obstacle course, then they had the horsey rides or whatever
The
it's called.
horse, right?
That's what I talk to my daughter, the horsey rides. Then they had the one-on-one battles. What do you think of Endeavor's relationship with Todoroki and Todoroki not wanting to use his fire? What's your opinion on that whole relationship and dynamic?
So I think it leads to a lot of great character development for Shoto later. But the first time watching My Hero, it's kind of like, okay, we get it, you little stubborn jerk. You're not using your dad's. Just get over it.
Yeah,
And then we find out a little bit more about it, and you're like, oh, this is a completely different scenario than what I had thought. And the whole scene with Midoriya breaking himself and saying, look at me, you haven't even put a scratch on me, come at me with everything you've got, we have not, we're all giving it our all, what makes you think you don't have to? And like, oh man, i I really think that it was, looking back on it and knowing what's to come, it was very very well done. At the moment, it's okay. it's
mm,
it's not my favorite part of the sports festival arc, but I do think the fight, saying that the fight between Deku and Shoto would not be the same without that, and that's one of my favorite fights in the whole series. So I'm gonna give their relationship more credit because of the impact that it had on that fight. Um, would you agree or?
I'd agree. I'd say Shoto's mom doesn't get enough. I, she poured hot water on his face. I know she was in an abusive relationship that's terrible, and obviously they don't go into it too much. But but she needs a little bit of blame for the way Shota turned out. In a sense, I know she was struggling mentally with certain things as well, but throwing hot water in your child's face is kind of a no-no. You shouldn't necessarily do
Yeah,
that. And
I mean, you're a dad. Would you?
No,
mean,
yeah, never even consider that. I mean, you
I
take
mean
the children and
it
leave. I mean, it's
it
about
takes I mean
yeah.
it does get explored a little bit better, and I later it's just like in season 6 I think it's really explored in a way that, because I was really nervous about how they were going to portray that whole relationship. I think they did it very fair
Mhm,
later, but I would have loved to have seen his mom get a little bit more development earlier on, and this might have been a good place to do it. I don't know, but I still think what they did. The thing with My Hero is a lot of what happens early on is like it's rewarded very much later, and I love the way the what is the mangaka's name, Horikoshi,
mhm,
the way that
mhm.
he writes all of that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And another controversial topic: do you think they should have stopped the fight with Midoriya and Todoroki earlier than they did? Obviously, for plot purposes, it makes sense. For Goosebumps purposes, it makes sense. But Midoriya was basically destroyed his body, and they were gonna, they could have hurt a lot of different people.
I'm shocked they didn't hurt anybody, to be honest. I because I mean there's no barrier between the spectators, and I really I you can't tell me someone didn't get hurt with the explosion that they caused. I believe they should have called the fight
Mm,
earlier than they did. I understand why they didn't for plot reasons, but I mean, just look at Midoriya afterwards. I mean, he literally bears the scars of it on his hands.
mm, mm. Yeah, no, it wasn't. I think there was neglect from the teachers for sure. What about the winners? So, the winner of the sports festival. Let's move on to that. The winner, obviously, Bakugo, and second place was who?
Shoto,
Third
Shoto, I
place
think.
was
And
Todoroki.
then the third was supposed to be Ida, but he get calls out for something else, so Tokoyami goes up in his place.
Yes. I think that was good. I think that was a good ending, and that's how it should have been. If Deku ended up winning the whole thing, that wouldn't have been too cool.
I would not have liked that.
No,
I I agree. I don't think he should have won it. He's not ready to.
not at all. He's not got control of his quick. And I love the little teaser. This can be the last thing we discuss in regards to this particular arc. But the little teaser with um, Ida and his brother, and the phone
Yes.
call, and that incredible teaser to the next arc.
Yes, and I love the way that they did that, because it feels so seamless tying this arc into the next one. Like you don't really know where one arc ends and the other begins. It's beautiful, and I love the next arc and how we get to explore more of Ida's family and their relationship with each other. It's great. I'm looking forward to discussing that one because I have a lot to say about that arc.
Oh yeah, me too. One of my favorite arcs, actually. Um, all right,
Agreed.
you had some little improv things that we could do. Do you have any improv ideas for the fans? And obviously, if you fans listening to this have um, any improv ideas, please send them through to us. We'd love to. Bjorvio has such an incredible voice and such an incredible talent. And if you want to hear your favorite My Hero Academia stars or any stars say some cool things or even say your name, reach out to us. But what are your ideas, Bjorvio?
So I had one that I thought would be really hilarious, and that is, if you want to be Ash Ketchum, I'll be Bakugo, and they're meeting for the first time.
Okay, I love it. I'll start it off. Hi, I'm Ash Ketchum. Nice to meet ya.
Who cares?
Oh, well, you look kind of like a Pokemon that I have. Maybe I can show you. His name's Charizard. You seem to have the same similar temperament to him as well.
I'll crush him.
Ah,
Wait, do you
he's pretty
show me
big.
your? Wait, are you not gonna fight me yourself? You have other people fight for you?
I think I might try throw a Pokeball at you and just see if it catches you. You seem like a new type of Pokemon. What's your Pokemon name?
King Explosion Murder God Dynamite. I don't. That's my hero name. I don't know what a Pokemon is, and nor do I want to.
Oh, well, you seem to have some of those powers coming out of your hands when you get angry. That's what Pokemon do. You just seem like a new evolved type. You must be a mega evolution or something.
The only thing I am is the number one hero in trading. Watch it, nerd. I'll blow up your face.
And how many Pokemon do you have?
I don't even know what those are. What are they, like a pet or something?
Yeah, well, that person next to you seems to have some green hair. He looks like a bit of a Bulbasaur. Is he your companion Pokemon? Was he your starter?
Deku, Bakugo, what is he talking about?
Shut up, Deku. This doesn't have anything to do with you.
You need to treat your Pokemon better. Take him to the Poke Center.
You need to shut your face. Fight me. Send out that creature so I can blow up its face, and then I'll fight you next, little one.
I'm not ready for a battle. Who's your trainer? You seem to have a weird temperament. You need a better trainer. And if you're a free and wild Pokemon, I'll be happy to be your trainer, and I can train you up, and we can be champions together. We can take the world title. What do you think? Is your name King Dynamite Explosion Murder? What do you think, King Dynamite Explosion Murder? We have to change that name for the kids that watch the show.
Who wants to be the lame loser of some championship? I'm not aiming for something as low as that. I'm aiming to be the number one hero. So if you're not gonna fight me, get out of my way.
All right, let's sing together. I wanna be the very best that no one.
I want to blow up your face.
Perfect. That was cool. I like that. I like that. And you do such a good Bakugo impression. I think that would go just like that. I think Ash would be obliviously naive, and he'd probably end up getting his bum kicked by Bakugo.
I can imagine Ash definitely being like, "Oh, it's a fire type," and trying to catch Bakugo, and Bakugo being so offended that Ash is sending somebody other than himself to fight, just like taking care of his Pokemon. And
I don't want to fight them. I want to fight you.
Yeah, especially Bakugo with his full gauntlets on and his headgear. He would look kind of like a cool Pokemon. I want to see that crossover now. We need to get Veronica Taylor
right,
and the voice actor
Clifton.
Yeah, we need to get them to collaborate. Yeah, all right. Well, let's do one more. Let's do I'll come up with one. So, how's your Endeavor?
You know, I've never tried Endeavor.
It sounds similar to.
This will be a anime dudes exclusive of Endeavor. Normally, I can do it by scream. I start by the scream and then work my way down.
Okay, go.
Yeah, not that great.
That sounded great. That sounded real good. All right, it'll be All Might talking to Endeavor. You can be All Might, and I'll be Endeavor. Oh, it looks like you.
Right.
No, Endeavor. I can't be Endeavor, but I'll just be a weird. It looks like you've brought along another love child, All Might. You sure do get around.
You know what? Love child, get around. I don't know what you're talking about, Endeavor. You're the only one that's married between the two of us. I'm sure you have enough kids to go around.
Who did you marry in order to get his quirk? Obviously someone with a much better quirk than your own.
Well, no, you see, I'm still single. Number two. But, I'm just living my best life. Anyway, this is my, not my love child. He is my friend. My protege, if you will.
To me, it seems a little bit weird that you have a friend of his age, but that's okay. I suppose you're trying to get him to not. I don't want him to be friends with Todoroki. He'll taint him with his failure.
You have to lighten up, old friend. You're always concerned with the outcome of young Shoto Todoroki. Always, Shoto must master his fire side. Or Shoto must use his ice and fire at the same time. But you forget to realize Shoto is his own person with his own quirk. It's not just yours.
My goodness, you're so good at All Might. That sounds so cool. That's so cool. For those of you listening in, I got Bjorvio to send my girls a bit of a shout out as All Might, and they were very, very happy. And they were very happy that their dad knew All Might. So they were a bit pumped. They were like, "Oh my goodness!" And that was a really cool moment for them. Okay, well, thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
It was. No, thank you so much, Bjorvio. You're incredible. I love our conversations. They're so much fun. And I for those of you listening, please follow along. And send through your ideas, send through your improv. We are not only going to be talking about My Hero Academia, but we're just going through the series at the moment because that's something we both love. And if you enjoy our conversations and our controversy, then follow along and reach out and give your feedback. What do you want to say to close, Bjorvio?
I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in today, and like he said, please give us share this around so we can so everyone that wants to hear our amazing stories and our opinions, whether you agree or hopefully you agree, we'll just get the word out there because we got some awesome content coming out. You're not going to want to miss it. Like he said, right now it's My Hero, but we're going to expand. We already have some really cool topics in mind, and I think our conversations are just going to flow. Send your improv in, and we're just here to have fun.
We completely are. Thank you very much.